All right, Her Wild Outdoors listeners, thank you for joining us for another episode. I'm excited to have a conversation with Rebeca Granillo tonight. She hails from Utah, right, Rebecca?
That's correct.
Yay! Well, I'm excited to get to talk to you. I was telling you before we pressed record that I've been following you for a little bit, and I'm highly impressed with not only what you do, because we're going to get into that in just a second, but I'm sorry, your Instagram account is so aesthetically pleasing.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Coming from a photographer, like I enjoy just scrolling through your page. It is, I don't know, there's a peace that surrounds it, I think. And I don't know, I go and I see what you are posting and what you're talking about, and there's just this softness to it that, I don't know, I really enjoy going and seeing what you're up to.
I appreciate that. It's been fun. It's changed over the years, and as I've kind of I've changed as a person, I think it's changed as well. And I like less harsh colors, I guess I could say nowadays. And so I've really enjoyed that, and I don't know how long it'll stick around, but for now, I thoroughly I have a lot of fun, processing some of these images and, just dinking around with them.
Yeah. I think it does. You can go over people's pages over the years and look at how they've evolved as people, not just in what they're doing, but how they see things and how they want them to be seen, or how their mood changes throughout the seasons of their life. And I do like that softer edge to it. There's purpose and there's strength to it, but there's also this soft feminine touch to it, and I like it because it shows the side of a woman in multiple different facets. So I think that's why it kind of draws me to your page. I love it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so there are a couple of things that I want to touch on today, asking you, but take a little bit of time and tell us who you are, how the outdoors has kind of inspired you to be where you are today.
All right. So let's see. We'll do the usual introduction. So I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. I've lived here my whole life. I lived for a little bit of time in California growing up. And I really enjoyed that time there, but Utah just is home. And so we always ended up finding our way back here. And I don't really see myself living anywhere else. Although I do have favorite places outside of here. Home is home, So aside from that, I, have 2 dogs, Roscoe and Tico. They're pretty fun and wild. Roscoe's 8 now, and he's gonna turn 8, and Tico's 2, so they're 2 completely different dogs. And,
yes, I have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old dog. They are much different dogs.
Yep. You get it, yeah.
Yes.
And so they keep us young, and they get us out way more than we're used to, which is awesome. And I have a daughter. Her name is Nurani, and she's about 21 months now. She's just the cutest thing in the world to me. I can't get enough of her. She's so fun, and parenthood was, nothing what I expected it to be.
It never is.
Yeah. No, it's wild. Yeah. I'm very fortunate. I have a really good partner. My husband, Evan, he's a great father and just a great, this is all around good support. And so, very fortunate to have him, but I've known him for about 11 years now. We met working for a fly fishing company, and we both were I mean, brand new to fly fishing at the time. Didn't know a dang thing about it, so it made it very, very comfortable to be around each other just to kind of learn. It's always fun to learn with people that are on your level, just because you know, you might be a little less shy to admit you suck.
That
Because
is
everybody.
true. Yeah.
So it was really fun. We did a lot of fishing, and about 6 years later, we got married. And so yeah, it's been really awesome. But he loves to fish as well, which makes it even better, because now our family gets out together as much as we can. The winter months are a little tricky, but we figure it out. If that sun comes out, we're going out.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah. I mean, aside from that, I'm 31, and
Just a baby.
just a baby. I have a long way to go.
It's
And
amazing, though, right? How much you can fill into that amount of time. Just,
mhm.
I mean, I was reading the other day. I was having what was that? I was listening to something the other day, and it said that 20 hours of doing something, you get more out of the first 20 hours of learning something than anything after that. If you are fully engaged, those first 20 hours, you can take more from it than anything else. And so toss that into the 11 years that you and your husband have known each other.
Sure, yeah.
Or the amount of time that you have had behind a fishing rod, and those first 20 hours that you were fully engrossed in it, how much you absorbed out of it, and then tack on the time that you've had after that. It takes what seems like a short amount of time, and really instills that, holy cow, what did I bring? What did I take out of that? How much have I grown in that short amount of time when you just fully engross yourself in it?
Absolutely. That's a really good way to look at it.
It's something, it's kind of, I don't know, it keeps me on my toes when I'm looking at learning something. Okay, well, these first 20 hours that I put into it, it's an investment. It's something that I don't need to take lightly. And you can apply that to anything in your life, and tack on parenthood those first 20 hours.
Oh my gosh, there's some of the tough.
Those first 20 hours, it's a doozy. You kind of get you cannonball in. There is no dipping that toe in. So it's just something that kind of keeps you accountable, maybe, to those first little bits of time.
Absolutely, yeah. It's I don't know, as you get older, I don't know, time. I know that, like, the common thing to hear is like life is short, but I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like it's extremely long if you're fortunate enough to make it.
Yeah.
To at least past a certain age where you can be mature enough to be humble and understand your place and things like that. If anything beyond that, it's just I feel like life is very, very long.
Yeah.
And being 30, I can't wait to see where I'm at 60. I really look forward to getting older, and I look forward to time passing. I think it will, whether I like it or not. So I'm just going to look forward to it and enjoy it while I can.
Yeah, it's such a great mindset. Yeah, I think that, a lot of times they do say it goes by so quick, and I don't know. There are days that go by so slow and and hard, and I feel like the time that we're in goes by and can go by slow. But then you look back over the year, and you're like, how did that year go by that fast? So the moment seems slow, but the hindsight is a little bit faster than you kind of want it to be sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is true.
I'm glad you said that, though, that you're looking forward to getting older. I am too. I hit 40 a year and a half ago, and it was
You're 40?
I'm 41. I'll be 42 this year.
Oh my gosh, you're so hot for 40.
Oh my gosh, you make me feel so good. No, I promise you, 40 was probably one of my favorite years. Turning 40, as
That's
difficult
cool.
as it was with COVID happening during that time, the amount of confidence that comes from being in your late 30s and early 40s, it is, I don't know. There's something to it. I've always looked forward to it. My mom looked forward to it. I saw her carry it well. And I don't know. I always looked forward to it. I have friends who say, I'm 39 and holding. And I'm like, no, I'm 41. I'm holding it hard. Like, I am loving it. And I can't wait to be 50. And I can't wait to be like, I love the process of aging because of what comes with it and the experiences that come with it. It's just exciting to me to live life.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's cool.
Something to look forward to. Oh my
Wow.
goodness. And to have teenagers, holy moly, that's a whole, you'll get there one day, but it is, I have loved every second of it. So,
Yeah, because we went to the park today and, it's been 20 months and it's hard to believe that 20 months ago I had this human that 1000% depended on me. And that percentage is slowly decreasing.
yeah.
And, today and I know she's only 20 months, but it was just kind of cool to sit on the swings with her. I'm just swinging with my daughter. That's kind of cool. And I can only imagine how much better it gets because it was pretty special, although simple, but special.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Teenagers, how old are your kids?
So I've got a 14-year-old, an almost 14-year-old, and then my son turns 12 this week. So they are, I keep being warned, just wait till they turn teenagers. Just wait. You are going to, and I don't know, each season of life with them has had its hardships, right? There are transitions that are hard for them, but also hard for us. But the joy, like, I love my children, but sometimes you find it hard to like them. And I don't say that meanly. I don't say, it's like sometimes it's just hard and you wonder, am I doing this right? Am I raising a child that is going to be okay and independent? And sometimes they can just be pills, and I love them to death, and that will never change. But there are some days that I'm just like, you are so hard right now, and they are fleeting. And there aren't as many of them. And I really like my kids. I like who they are becoming, and I like their character, and I like being around them. And I don't think a whole lot of people can say that about teenagers, or not that they can't say it, but that they don't say it. And I really, really enjoy being their mom.
That's awesome. It's a good feeling, huh?
It really is a good feeling. It doesn't mean that it's any less hard, that it's easy, because it's far from that. But there is definitely more joy than I ever imagined there would be, and a lot of pride in who they are becoming. And I would not be who I am today without them. So I'm grateful.
Yeah, kids are quite the gift.
They are. They really are. So I'm taking us back just a little bit. You said that you started working in a fly fishing shop.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of started into fly fishing at that point in time, a newbie, as we would say.
Uh-huh.
What inspired you to start into that?
It's a great question. So I always wanted to work in law enforcement, and through a cadet program, I got a firsthand experience as to what it is like to be a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And in the lab, and crime scene and everything, it's not what it is on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what people make it to sound like. It's a lot of things, and a lot of things I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I like every officer. You have to see things that may not sit well with you, or they kind of don't. They kind of go home with you.
Mm-hmm.
And just that stuff was hard. There's just a couple cases that really just kind of hurt me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't shake them off. I couldn't get away from it. And then we had a call that we went on, and afterwards, the officer I was with, I just kind of broke down and said, "Hey, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if, I have the ability to carry this weight."
Mm-hmm.
And he just very kind person to me, and he listened, and he's just brainstorming with ideas. He's like, "Well, maybe you just need to try something different, step away for a bit, and then see if it still feels right to come back." And I was like, "Well, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what else to do."
Yeah, this was the plan.
This is the plan, and I am ready to take the next steps, and I just don't know. And it was really cool, because he was just like, "You know what? Well, I got a buddy. He owns a fly fishing shop. I'm sure he needs help. Maybe we can meet him. And if there's something there, then, that's fun." And he's an avid fly fisherman himself. And so he was just talking it up and, saying all this crazy stuff. And my family hiked a lot growing up. We didn't fish at all. No traditional, like, terminal tackle, anything like that. We didn't do any kind of fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So fly fishing sounded even more interesting and weird to me. So that day, like, on our lunch break, we went over and met the owner. And, a few weeks after that, I just thought, "Hey, I need change, and maybe this is it." So I took the opportunity that was presented to me, and I worked for that company for about 5 or so years before they were acquired by another company. And that was one of the best jobs I've ever had. It was really fun. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. But that's how I got into it.
Yeah.
I didn't seek it. I never even heard of it before. But boy, am I grateful that I ended up here.
It sounds like it had a bit of healing for
Tons
you.
of healing. Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like in such a hard place, and it's hard to find anything crappy about fishing. It doesn't matter what kind of fishing you do. It's all powerful, because it takes you away from whatever reality you're currently in.
Yeah.
And so it did that. It did a lot for me mentally. Physically, it kept me in shape, and it was just, and throughout life since then, I've had hardships. Everybody does, but fishing has always been there to help me.
Yeah.
I love that. I can't see myself without it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I feel that. I worked in cardiac surgery at a hospital where we took every single case, every hard case, and it was pediatric cardiac surgery. And like you said, there are just some cases that you can't shake. And I had always said, if I ever have a case, and if I ever lose a patient that I don't have that feeling of remorse or that feeling of, where you kind of harden yourself. If I ever get to that point, then I need to stop, because I never wanted to lose that softness. I never wanted to lose that empathy or sympathy based on protection, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's some people that can compartmentalize it. I truly believe that our first responders and medical personnel should have access to therapy 24/7.
Absolutely.
I think that it's important. I think that it's lacking, and it should have been in my life at that point in time, because you burn out.
Yeah.
And like you said, yeah, there are things that stick with you that you just can't shake and that are hard. And getting into the outdoors for me was a part of that healing. It was a part of that. You kind of have to be quiet in the moments. You have to be quiet with your own self, which is a little bit scary at times.
Sure.
You have to listen to yourself. You have to listen to the things that run through your head that you've had to work through and process and let go. And I think that nature does a great deal of healing in that. Dogs do as well. I have to throw them in there. We do not deserve them. But I do, I feel what you're saying in that. I have felt it. And I think that a lot of people have felt that. That resonates with a lot of people, because there's only so much that your heart and your brain can take. And being able to get out and let go and allow things that are out of your control in a good way happen, kind of reminds your soul that everything's not so bad.
Yeah, no, Emily, that's beautifully put. Yeah, absolutely.
You get ingrained with the bad when you're surrounded by it, and you have to be reminded of the joy. But I grew up fishing. I didn't grow up hunting. I grew up fishing in ponds and creeks in Alabama. So that was where I started, was fishing as a little kid.
Oh, lucky. I would have loved to have had this as a kid. It would have kept me out of a lot more trouble.
Right? I don't know if it kept me out of trouble, but it did definitely. And I wasn't fly fishing. I was fishing with hot dogs on regular fishing rod. I was fishing for catfish and bass. So, but it's still along the same lines of patience and I don't know. I took a fly fishing small dose of a course, talking 45 minutes of how do you even, I think it was basically just how do you use your arm with a fly fishing rod? How do you create that rhythm, and why do you have that rhythm, and how is the rhythm wrong and how is the rhythm right, and how do you have patience with yourself in learning, and where is the groove of it? But I didn't even get anywhere near water doing it.
Well, if you ever want to come to Utah,
yes.
I'd be happy.
Yes, the answer is yes. Yes. But it's beautiful, even in the 45 minutes of throwing a line on a pasture. Yes, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot of different things. Casting in itself is, and many view it as an art form, especially when you get to these anglers that are incredibly just skilled at casting. And they know how to control their line. And it's so beautiful to watch, if you're just have this friend that she's a phenomenal just caster. Every time I watch her, I'm just blown away. And it's so fun just to like sit on the bank, just be outdoors alone. And then I look over and it's just like the sun's hitting her right. She's making these most beautiful casts I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
She couldn't catch it. Like if she didn't catch a fish, it wouldn't matter. It's just there's a lot of beauty to it. But then there's the tying side of it. Tying your bugs. That's another art form.
Correct.
And it's beautiful. It's hard. It can be hard. It's challenging, which is my favorite part. But there's a lot of different components that kind of come together. Should you choose to like pick at each component, but it's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. I was talking to Jen Smith, who is based out of Texas, and we were talking last year, and she hunts and fishes. So she fly fishes. It is something that kind of healed her soul along the way, but she also hunts. And she said, fly fishing in itself is hunting. You are figuring out what you are searching for. You're figuring out where they are, what their habitat is, what they're eating, what you need to utilize in order to meet them where they are. And it is more than just what I grew up doing, just sitting on the side of a pond and throwing a hot dog in. Like it creates a sense of, you have to learn, you have to invest time, you have to research, you have to take time out there when you're not even fishing to figure out what you need to be utilizing. And the way that she put it made fly fishing so much. It made it intriguing. It made it an adventure. And like you said, the challenge of it is it draws you in.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's humbling too.
I bet.
I think you like have it all figured out, you've got your spot or spots, and especially in the beginning, and you're just out there, plucking fish, and you feel so accomplished. But then you visit a different body of water, perhaps at the same time of year, maybe a different time of year, and then all of a sudden you're not so hot. Also, you're not just plucking them out. If anything, you're just hoping to see one. So it's very humbling, and in so many ways. But the challenge of it is what's intriguing. I mean, you're dealing with it's a live animal on the other end. It's not, you're not just casting or hooking a stick or a rock. There's a live creature on the other side, and it can choose to give your bait or flies the middle finger and swim away. Like it has,
and they do often.
And they do often.
Yeah.
Boy, do they?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really, really fun, and in just so many ways, and the places it takes you too. It really opens your mind to, going to different places and exploring different water, and then chasing different species. It's just all around just a wonderful game.
There aren't too many ways in today's world where you feel small. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I feel like the way that we connect with people, and we have the ability to talk to somebody clear across the world, it makes our world seem small. But I feel like in nature, I mean, I was in Montana this year, and I felt so small in this vast space. And it reminds me that even though I am small, I still have a mark on this world. I still have a purpose. And so does everybody else. And so that smallness that I feel when I'm out there isn't a negative. It's definitely a positive. It's definitely a reminder that I still have a lot to do. It's that humbling feeling that you're talking about of Okay. Okay. Thanks for the reminder.
Right.
Let me get back to work.
Right.
Let me pull my big girl britches up and keep going because this world requires a whole lot more than settling.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And that's something we're passing on to the next generation. Going from being without kids, without a baby, and being able to fish and do things and go where you want to go whenever you want to, when you have the time and you make the time, adding a human being to the mix that is dependent, like you were saying. How did that, for some people, it causes you to slow down, which I think it does no matter what. You kind of have to slow down a little bit. But how did that inspire you to push forward?
I think, well, I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by people who love it as much as I do, if not more. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I don't fly fish for the pictures. You know, I don't fly fish for, you know, I have days where I like debate deleting Instagram and stuff. So it's just, there's a lot more to it. And once something becomes a part of you, it's just a part of you. Yes. So regardless of what challenges you might think you have, or they are actually challenges and they truly are things you need to overcome, you will overcome them. Mm-hmm. Because it's just something that you have to get through in order to get to what is really important to you. And for me in the beginning, because we fished throughout my pregnancy. Yeah. I think it was like a few days before me and my friend Megan went out fishing before I went into labor. And, you know, there's like this cute little family of ducks, and they had little baby ducks. And she was just like, oh, it's a sign, like, you're going to have your babies. Maybe, but hopefully not on my way home. It was just like this sweet little moment with my friend. And, you know, it got me thinking, like, you know, it's not just going to be me out here anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, there's going to be somebody else who not only doesn't know how to fish, but doesn't know how to feed themselves, you know, mm-hmm. and it's just a lot, just so many things. And so, but honestly, we packed what we needed and we left. When we got to the river, it felt like we had forgotten so many things. And that happened time after time after time, and each time got better, and each time we, you know, knew what we needed to take, what we need to leave, mm-hmm. where we need to go, and we started to develop a pattern, a system, and that helped. And everybody's system is a little bit different, I've noticed. Some things work for some families where other things don't work for others. It definitely, you know, when she was really little, meaning like maybe 8-10 months, it was so easy to just toss her in the backpack. She just fall asleep. Yes. Things are different now. She's not going to bed. She loves fish. I don't know, maybe it's just because she's been around it her whole life, but so far, I've never seen a child love fish more than I've seen her. Like, mm-hmm. It's crazy. You know, her favorite books are books with fish in them. She'll pull them up and ignore everything but it, and then just go, fish, fish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fish. And, you know, we were at the fly shop today, and she just wanted to, like, look at everything, show me all, like, the fish molds, like, everywhere. She was just so into it. Mm-hmm. And it's so cool to see that. And it actually helps get out. Like, it helps you, it motivates you to get out, seeing your child more excited than you are just to get out and fish. Yeah. And, you know, but she wakes up now in the backpack if she does go to sleep. And if she doesn't go to sleep, regardless, she's going to ask to come out now. Yeah. So she wants to get down. She started off with just like wanting to throw rocks. So she'd just sit next to me, next to the bank, and I'd fish. she'd be focused on the ground, which meant I was really focused on the ground and not fishing.
Correct.
I toss
Correct.
that out there, but that's just not my,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
the parent. So I'm just like hovering over her. And then over time, all of a sudden she wanted to like hold the rod. And so now she's kind of tossing it around, which is terrifying, but so cute.
I bet.
Yes. And so it's really, really fun, like watching her develop that way. But that part about her just sitting down and playing rocks, that's kind of where we've been the past, 20 months. We've really just, fishing has slowed down.
Yeah.
It's not the same. You don't, you know, I mean, there are days where I just want to lay on the bank anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but more often than not, I am trying to go out there to accomplish some kind of a goal. And with a kid, it's just so different. It slows you down in ways you didn't imagine, but for the best reasons ever.
Yeah.
I've seen more and observed more with her by my side than I would have without her, because I'm showing her things or maybe sharing something, or, I'm, as much as she can comprehend, I'm constantly trying to feed her information. But through that, I notice things, I
Right.
remember watching just a hatch unfold in a way I'd never really seen it before. And it was because of hers, because we really stopped to just listen and go her pace. And I enjoyed that. I actually enjoy it a lot more than the way I used to fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have my days. My husband and I, we came up with this plan just to so we can both just fill our cups. Throughout the month of January and February, I get to fish every single Saturday solo, and he gets to fish every single Sunday solo.
Mm-hmm.
So we either go with our friends or we go by ourselves, doesn't matter. But there's no restrictions, right?
Right.
You don't have to leave at a certain time, you don't have to be home at a certain time, you just get out there and fish. So I am getting that bit back.
Yeah. Which is important.
It's
Yes.
so important. But throughout the week, we go at least once a week, weather permitting, and just sit on the bank, or just let her throw that rod around with no flies on it, just so she can kind of dink around. But it's different.
It is different. But I like how
Yeah.
you said, and I kind of feel the same way. Like, I didn't grow up hunting. I started hunting early 30s. And it wasn't until my kids started walking alongside of me that, you always have, like you said, I wish that I had done that when I was a kid. I wish that I could have done. Well, now I feel as though watching them go through it, I am.
Oh, sure. That's a point.
I'm seeing those details. I'm starting out with those small little things and noticing those small little details that only a kid would notice. And I wouldn't get to notice that without them. I would have been so focused on an adult goal that I wouldn't have ever experienced a child's goal. And so I feel like what I missed as a child, I'm now filling my cup as a kid, doing it alongside of them. And you do get that sense of pride. It changes. We've always had this discussion. I've always had this discussion with the kids. You are taught something, you do something, and then you teach it. And I've said that a couple of different times on the podcast, but it's something that I was taught or I learned because I solo hunted from the beginning. So I was either taught or I learned somewhere through a book or online, and then I did it. And now that I have kids, I have been able to teach it, which then takes me back to a place that I feel as though I missed. And I don't know, I feel like that cup is being filled as I walk alongside of them. And whether you have kids or not, You can mentor kids, you can mentor an adult, you can take it back to when you're seeing it with fresh eyes. And it does kind of take you back to those moments that you may have missed. And it makes you aware, but it makes you grateful for being able to see it through somebody else's eyes. You get to enjoy it a little bit more, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I get more satisfaction seeing somebody have success out there in meeting their goals, whether it ends with, a fish on the line or a completed harvest, but it is more along the lines of the small victories where you see their eyes light up. Look what I just did, or look what I just learned, or did you see that cast? Like, it is getting that rhythm with a fly rod and feeling it, even if it's only with 4 casts. You're like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. But it takes you back to that. And so, yeah, I feel like the moments that I lost as a kid, I'm gaining right now, watching them do it.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it and feel, because it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. You just kind of revisit a lot of things, and it's so fun. I always struggled with like the cheesy things, like cheesy stuff for kids, and thought it was always so lame. But like, with being with my daughter and like watching TV with her and like these silly cartoons, I'm getting cheesy myself,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I don't know. It's raising a child is really cool, because you're right. It does bring you back to childhood in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely builds you differently. Now, like you said, whether it's your own biological kid or somebody else, it's fun to share those things. I think it's why I like fishing with people that are just getting into the sport.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
They are it's so cool.
It really is. Now, you're a part of a fly club out there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we have an all-women's fly fishing club here, and we actually have a couple in the state, which is really fun. And the whole idea behind it is just trying to find a friend to fish with, somebody that, whether they're on your level or not, has the same goals in mind. And it's been a lot of fun. I've met some pretty, I'd say, influential people to me that have changed my life. And these people come from all kinds of backgrounds, right? Some of these people are just unbelievably rich. And some people are just in the grind, just like I am. So
Yeah.
it's amazing, because those things don't matter.
Yeah.
And so you're out there sharing, this common love and passion. And, I've found so many of those women through our group. And I can't imagine how many more I'm going to meet,
Yeah.
It's just, women are growing in this sport. And so it's really fun to see and meet all kinds of women from all kinds of backgrounds. We have outings, couple classes and clinics. When I first started it, it was just a simple, like, I just want some girlfriends. I like fishing with the guys, no problem, but hanging out with girls is so fun.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. When I was it was like early junior high, late elementary school, I was bullied pretty heavily by a group of girls. And so naturally, I only hung out with guys. Guys were my best. Like, I always had a best friend that was a guy, throughout my whole life until now. And like, just men have been so important to me in my life. And when I, maybe like late teens, I started hanging out with more girls, and they my sister introduced me to a lot of people, and so it was a lot of fun, and I realized I really enjoyed them, and we just connect differently. And so when joining, like making the club, I was just searching for that, but outside and fishing instead of like in a club or, whatever party. Like I didn't want that life anyway anymore. And so I wanted something different, and I wanted to surround myself with women that also like enjoy that.
Yeah.
And, not that I don't enjoy those other things, but, priorities. And so it's been fun. I've definitely found a lot of really good relationships through it. And other people within it have found each other, that have nothing to do with me. And that's the best part about it. It's just, it's a lot of fun. I'll tell you that.
It is a lot of fun. I think you hit on a couple of things that hit home with me. That sometimes it's hard. I guess it's a sense of maturity when you figure out you don't have to conform to a group of people that you don't necessarily find that same-mindedness with, that commonality with. It's okay. It's okay for you not to fit into every single group. I've had to remind myself, I'm a people pleaser. So I want to fit into every single group. I want everybody to be okay. I want to find peace with everybody. I want everybody to like me. And it has taken years for me to figure out it's okay to not fit into every group. It's okay to want to search for people who are like-minded, who are going to elevate you in your goals, who are going to support you in those goals, and that you get to support them in their goals. It's okay to have acquaintances outside of what you are familiar with, but it's also okay to seek out people that you are like. And it took a long time for me to figure that out. And I think I was probably in a similar space as you were, that it took me a long time to trust that. It took me a long time to trust and lean into, this wasn't about me always. Sometimes it was a struggle that somebody else had, and that's okay too. And boundaries are good, and finding people that are going to be good for you is not selfish. It's actually very healthy. So yeah, I 100% feel where you are. Finding a tribe of women who feel that I can also invest in and support, man, there's nothing like it.
Oh no, it's so fun. It's so fun, and it's different. It's a different, like how we're talking, like it's a different pace with kids. From at least my experience, I have felt it is a completely different pace with women as well. I like both. I'm not saying one's better than the other. They both are different though. And I've fished with a lot of females that, they've got one goal in mind, and that's to catch a fish, and regardless of who they're with and what they're doing, they've got their goal, right? But oftentimes it becomes a shared goal, and all of a sudden you have like 4 girls rooting behind you for you to catch this one dumb fish.
Yes.
And like everybody's hyped, everybody's excited, and it's just like this. It's so fun. Like I don't know, I can't get enough of it. We goof around, we take it serious when it happens, but like it's a different pace, and it's a pace I thoroughly enjoy. A lot of laughing happens, sometimes more laughing than fishing itself, but that's okay.
You need it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's needed. It really, really, really is. And it doesn't matter if it's a male or female, but as long as you're finding somebody that likes to fish your pace, like, gosh, it's just not, replaceable. It's hard to replace a fishing buddy. It's hard. Once you found a good one, you found them. And I have found so many, whether they're very experienced or just getting into it. As long as that passion is there, guarantee we're going to have a good time.
It's true. It's very true. I kind of want to look back at my 12, 13-year-old self and say, oh, just take a deep breath.
I know, right?
Just take a deep breath. We've got so many kids these days struggling with identity and with finding value in themselves, and instead finding value in how others think of them. And that will always fail. And and that's not a failure in themselves. It's something to remember that that's not who they are. The way somebody views them is not who they are. It's not their identity. And yeah, man, if I could just take a moment to send a note back and say your value is more than what somebody else says it is. I think I would have been much further in that journey earlier on. It took a long time to get there. So, I don't know. There's a lot of hurt that is going on right now that I'm glad that you kind of brought that up, because there is joy in finding your group of people. And sometimes it takes a little bit to figure that out, but just stay strong to who you are and you'll end up finding them.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe that group of people is one person.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be 20, 30 people at your disposal.
Yes.
But you'll find, if you have those similar true passions, I think you'll find them. They're there. And then some people just like to fish alone too. So,
it's
and
true.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's great in itself. That's freaking awesome. I've done it. I do it from time to time. It's very therapeutic. So
it truly is.
Yeah. But it takes is just one person. It just takes one friend that you can call, whether it's fishing, hunting, whatever it may be. And they're up for whatever adventure, you've got going on. That's good. If you can find that through a community or, however you choose to communicate with the rest of the world, like social media. I mean, there's people out there. You just have to be open to it, and then opportunities for new friendships will definitely come along.
That's so true. It's very true. Hey, you've got something else on your page that kind of sparked my interest, and I wanted to ask you about it, the Mayfly Project.
Do you know anything about it?
I don't. So I'm asking, I read a little bit about it, but I kind of wanted to hear from you about what all it entailed and how you were involved with it.
Okay. So first off, I have to give credit where it's due. We have two founders. We have Caitlin and Jess. They started the Mayfly Project years ago, and the mission is to get kids that are in foster care systems out fly fishing. We know this from our experiences. The clarity it can bring us, the healing it can bring us, and just the outdoor space alone. And we want to share that. Because we feel that regardless what they're going through, this could be a way for them to keep moving. And so we, depending on which project, because they're throughout the entire United States, they're all over the place, and we're constantly looking for people who would like to start a project in their area, because unfortunately there are a lot of foster children in our country, and we just want to share this opportunity as much as we can. So we're always looking for more volunteers and helpers and people to start their own. But depending on which one, we have outings that range anywhere from, again, depending on the program. Some are 4, some are 6, some do multiple outings a year for different groups. But we go through, a process of locating these children, whether it's through foster homes, caseworkers, whoever I can get a hold of, I'll talk with them just to see if there's any interest. And once we fill it up, we run a program. We get these kids out fishing. We introduce them to still water, rivers, bugs, casting, you name it. We just try to go out there and have a really good time. And at the end of the program, they don't know this. And if you're listening, don't spoil and tell anyone that might, listen and be, ruin the surprise. But they get their own rod and reel at the end, and they don't know it. And it's the coolest moment ever, because a lot of these kids, they really do look forward to it. And often not the ones that are struggling. It's not because they don't like it. They're struggling with something else.
Yeah.
And they can't break away. And that's where our mentors come in. They're so important. Our team here, we have a wonderful team of mentors that this past year did an awesome job just making connections with these kids. And, some of them did open up, and it's awesome. It's amazing. And so they have the tools to continue it. Now this is also tricky because, they don't have a friend to take them. We all need a friend to go. Right. And so we try to keep that communication as much as we can. We try to, share information with them just to keep in touch if it's at all allowed. But the goal is just to introduce them, and maybe it'll come back to them in life, and maybe it won't. But from my experience, the joy that I've seen from these kids in these opportunities, honestly, just brings me to tears every time. It's wonderful. It's great. It's a great program. I'm a very small part of it, but I love it, and I encourage anybody who might have some time to donate to do so. It's a really good program.
Yeah.
I really enjoy being part of it.
I don't think if you aren't familiar with foster care and kids in foster care, a lot of kids don't own a whole lot of things themselves. Yeah. It is usually borrowed or temporarily given to use, but there's not a whole lot that they actually own themselves. So giving them something like that, it goes deeper than just handing a rod over, or it's so much bigger. It's so much bigger.
It's a very emotional day for us at the end. For everyone, it's just it's a lot of emotion because we've heard that, it just it's important to
validate that feeling. Yeah,
it really is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love the goal of that. I love that it's not just in your area. If you're listening and you're a fly fisherman or woman, and this is something that speaks to your heart, reach out. I think that there's a lot that can be done that isn't just like you said in that day. It's continue if communication is allowed afterwards. I have noticed with kids, because of programs that I've worked with, that sometimes you lose them in college, or sometimes you lose them after high school, or sometimes you lose them in high school, but you're planting a mustard seed. You're planting a skill that they will always remember how they felt in that moment. Mm-hmm. And years down the road, they might go, I need something. What am I missing? What am I missing? What do I need? And they go, I really want to feel the same way I did when I was out there. And they go, okay, well, this is, and they'll come back to it. And it's a tool in their tool belt that even if it goes silent for a little while, it's still there. So even if it's just one day, even if it's just for a couple of hours, you are planting a mustard seed that allows them to have a tool that they can bring out and utilize in a situation where they don't feel like they can have a moment like that again. And that's huge. That's huge. That's bigger than even just taking them fly fishing. You are actually giving them something that they can put in their tool belt for later, even if they don't realize they're doing that in the moment.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's really fun, and all it takes is that time out there,
Mm-hmm.
to go, whoa, this is kind of cool. And
Yeah.
it's really fun. We had our last meeting with the kids. We had a fly tying night, and it was really fun because so many of them, they were now showing up with like their own backpacks from school, because we give them like a little backpack that they bring with all their curriculum and all their tools and all that stuff each outing. But this time we didn't require any of that, so that they just kind of came with their own stuff. But it
Mm-hmm.
was so cool to see that on their like school backpacks, they were putting on these like these pins we give them throughout the program,
Yes.
and that was on their stuff, and so they definitely were prideful of or it had a special place for them, enough to take it
Display
apart and
it.
go back. Yeah,
Yeah.
display it and share it. So yeah, the difference can be made, and it is slowly we're reaching more children, but there's just so many, and then
Mm-hmm.
but it's a really awesome opportunity. I encourage anyone to look into it, just because if you can't give time, we're always looking for donations, but
Mm-hmm.
time is priceless, I'd say.
Yeah.
And so it's great if you're in Utah and you happen to hear this, and you're interested in maybe starting a sub chapter within our state, please reach out, because I'd be more than supportive of that.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see another program here as well. It's needed. I think we need more than one. Or if you just want to volunteer, make sure to reach out, because I'd be happy to point you in the right direction, or help get the ball rolling.
Yeah. And just
It's
remember,
gonna
you don't have to have, and I've heard this constantly, well, I don't live anywhere near where you can fly fish. That is not true. It's not true.
Yeah.
I learned how to cast in a field. Like
Mhm.
it is, you do not have to have a beautiful clear creek with trout in it. which is how which is
Yeah,
how people think that that's how it's supposed to be. You can learn
that's
on a
so true.
pond, you can learn on a lake, you can learn on in a field. Like there are so many ways that
Oh,
you can bring this into somebody's life or into your own life.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, well, we have come to the end of our time, which I hate. I could keep going. This is so much fun. But I want people to be able to reach out to you if they do have these questions. So tell people how they can follow you, your women's club that you're a part of, and then also you guys have heard about the Mayfly Project. So go ahead and let people know how they can follow you.
Okay. So for our women's fly fishing club, we kind of got away from Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's on there. It's called Wasatch Fly Club, but we've been fishing too much to
Good for
pay
you.
attention to that thing. Yeah. So maybe at some point we'll pick it up. But we do have a closed Facebook group. So if you are interested and happen to live locally, it's called the Wasatch Women's Fly Fishing Club. And you are more than welcome to join our Facebook page and ask questions, share your success, or silently observe, whatever makes you happy. And then, come to an outing and make some new friends. As for the Mayfly Project, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. I can put you in contact with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use Facebook myself anymore, but if you'd like to reach out over Instagram, you can. I can also provide an email. What do you think, Amy? Or is there a preference?
You can do either one. We'll put them both. Well,
Okay.
they will both be in the post that goes along with this. But you can message Rebecca. I love your handle.
Oh yeah, it's Chewbacca, and it's a little bit of love for Chewbacca. My husband was teasing me about it when we first met. We were just at work, and he drew this little weird, other-looking Chewbacca thing, and Instagram was just starting back then, and we were a little bit late to the game. But when I went to go put it in, someone else had already come up with it. And so mine has 3 W's in it.
Yes, it does. Chew, Becca.
Rebecca. It's just so fun.
Mm-hmm.
But people are more than welcome to reach out there. So it's Chewbacca, CHEWWWBECA.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone is welcome to just shoot me an email if they'd like. I think Instagram now allows you to click the email button now on someone's profile.
It does.
Perfect. So you're welcome to do that as well. Yeah. That's the easiest way to help me.
No, I think that's perfect. And I will have, if you go to my Instagram page, you will be able to find her information there. And Rebecca, I appreciate your time. Like we have said before, time is so special and valuable. And so I honor that and I respect it. And thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate your time. This has been really fun. And I assume most of your audience is they're hunters. Is that correct?
No, actually, we have a whole lot of fishermen and women that listen. We have a lot of hikers. We have foragers. This has been, yes, I would say I have a lot of people who hunt that follow me, but the podcast is listened to by a whole lot of just outdoors people. So that's a fun thing.
All right. Well, if anyone's listening to this and they don't happen to fly fish and are looking to get started, I think an easy way to get into it is just simply by kind of, Googling it, looking it up, what it's about. And then, searching up your nearest fly shop.
Yes.
For fly fishermen, we go to places called a fly shop.
Yes.
And it is a wonderful place to get started. I've worked in a few, and I've always, and most of the staff I've ever worked with has thoroughly enjoyed just sharing the sport. And so most shops, you'll walk in and people are more than happy to, help you get started or answer any questions. There's no such thing as any dumb questions. And, at the end of the day, it's just important to remember it's just fishing. Mm-hmm. And so it may seem intimidating or like there's a lot to it, because there is in a sense, but there's an easy way for that to all be applied together. Mm-hmm. And so if you're thinking about, giving it a try, I suggest you do. And yes. It's easy to get started. If you, kind of reach out to these shops and start a conversation or again, do some research on your own, it's awesome.
It is. And I think that there's a little bit of a stipulation. I'll say this really quick. There's a little bit of a stipulation that fly fishing is very expensive. And there are ways around that. There are a lot of used shops that you can find used equipment at very discounted rates. There are ways that you can do this on a budget. And so don't let that be something that hinders you from trying it. Your fly shop will be able to point you in the direction of a way to get into it if you are on a tighter budget. So yeah, I don't want that to hinder people. It is kind of like duck hunting is a pretty expensive thing to do in the hunting world. There are ways around that. So don't let that stop you.
Absolutely. Yeah. There are a lot of companies nowadays that, grateful to have them around because they bring a different price point to the game. Mm-hmm. And they allow people to get into the sport, at a fraction of maybe what it used to be or what it can be, right? Yeah. It can still cost a lot, but to get started, no way. Mm-hmm. No way. When I first started, I started fly fishing with a hot pink fly rod. It was a kid's fly rod. And that thing caught a lot of fish. So I'm not,
It's
you know, I
skill. It's skill. Just learn how to do it the right way.
all about that time. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, definitely don't see that as an obstacle. There's so many ways used, whether it's online or locally is an awesome option. I'm so glad you threw that in because that does often come up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there are lots of ways.
Yeah.
Well, Rebecca, thank you.
Thank you as well. This has been so great.